Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rachel Patterson, and these are my teammates, Amanda Sherrick, Aaron Zhang, Melanie Wang, and Kelsey Askew. And we are the consulting team for ALO. We found that ALO has the opportunity to revolutionize the Chinese farming market. This is consistent with the 12th five-year plan, which encourages the mechanization of farms. Major dairy and SOE farms are already utilizing large agricultural tractors, but they are using construction machines for their front-loading needs. This is where ALO comes in. They can attach to the tractors already on the farm, thus eliminating the need for these construction machinery. But first, to enter the market, ALO will need to design a new front loader to fit the needs of the market, but most importantly, they will need to educate. In the 1950s, ALO introduced the very first front loader into the European farming market. Since then, they have been revolutionizing farming markets all over the world. They are the world-leading manufacturer of front loaders and the market leader on 3 continents. As you can see, their product is being used globally, but they have not yet entered China. Now, ALO has recognized the opportunity that China holds for them, and they are ready and willing to enter the market, but they need to know if there is even a market for their product and what they need to do to fit into it. Normally, when entering a market, ALO will design a new front loader to fit the needs of that market. This is because every single market is different, and they must modify their product to be successful. ALO's product is simply just 2 main segments. This includes the arm and the implement. The implement is most commonly thought of as a bucket, but truthfully, there are many other different kinds of implements other than buckets. Now, the implement and the arm together create the front loader, which you can see on the top picture on the left. Now, this entire front loader has many features that will be advantageous when entering into the Chinese farming market. They can attach to any tractor anywhere, as long as it is a medium to large size agricultural tractor. It can last an entire lifetime if properly maintained. And the entire front loader can be taken off and put onto the tractor in less than a minute whenever it does not need to be in use. Now, there are many uses for ALO's product because there are many different implements that go on the front of the product. This includes, but most typically in the past, this has been used on dairy farms. This is because ALO's product can efficiently move hay and feed and shovel cow manure. For this reason, we began our research by looking into the Chinese dairy farms. Now Amanda will define the Chinese farming market.
Thank you, Rachel. As Rachel mentioned a couple of minutes ago, ALO's front loader and implements attaches to medium and large size tractors. This is why we focused our research on the large size tractor market. Again, I want to emphasize, if there is no market for the tractor, there is no market for ALO because we have nothing to attach to. And this is also why we focused on the dairy farms, because this is where ALO's product has typically been used. So here we show the medium to large size dairy farms. And when I say medium to large size dairy farms, I mean farms that are 500 cows and up. This is where we saw the greatest need for ALO's product. So here we've identified the 5 main provinces where we actually see an overlap of the 2 markets. Not to say that there aren't large-sized tractors or medium to large-sized dairy farms in other provinces, but here we actually see the overlap of the two markets, these 5 main provinces. As you can see, Inner Mongolia and Heilongjiang province have a large size tractor market compared to the dairy market. That's because in these 2 provinces, there are large size SOE farms that are utilizing large size tractors. Now, when I say large size SOE farms, I mean state-owned enterprise farms that are non-dairy farms. These are mainly harvesting farms, and they harvest anything from wheat, rice, corn, you name it. But so when I say SOE farms, this is what I'm talking about. And Heilongjiang and Inner Mongolia are very highly mechanized provinces, and they're very proud to be highly mechanized. Just an example of this mechanization is right now, Nestle in Heilongjiang province is working on opening up one of the largest dairy production plants in China. And they plan on becoming one of the largest dairy players in China in the next 5 years. And one of their main goals is to introduce the latest agricultural equipment, which is great for ALO because this is exactly what ALO is trying to do. So since these 2 provinces are highly mechanized and they want to become more mechanized, ALO will focus their future marketing on these 2 provinces. Since we identified these 5 main areas as where we see an overlap of the two markets, we decided to visit these areas. We visited 9 different cities and 6 different provinces. This resulted in us visiting 11 farms, 19 dealers, and 3 factories. Just to give you an example of one of the farms that we did in fact visit, we visited Ely Dairy in Hohhot, Inner Mongolia, and what we found on this farm was actually very interesting. They're utilizing agriculture tractors and wheel loaders. They have anywhere from 8 to 10 agriculture tractors and wheel loaders. We've given you a visual because sometimes it's confusing when we're talking about these 2 different machines, so we've given you a visual. The first one is a traditional agriculture tractor. It's made to go on farmland. The one below it is a construction wheel loader. That's what these farms are actually utilizing for their front-loading needs. They're not utilizing agriculture tractors. So when we say wheel loader, this is what we're talking about. And a couple of issues that they actually are having with these wheel loaders is, one, that they do have problems with the wheel loaders damaging the grounds. That's because wheel loaders are made to go on roads. And another issue that they're having is any implement that they do buy on the current market, they in fact have to modify the implement because they cannot find what they need on the current market to fit their needs. This is great for ALO because they've attached to ag tractors that are easy on the ground and they can modify their product to fit the current market. And again, they mentioned that they do enjoy using international brands. They are in fact using New Holland tractors currently. So this is great news for ALO because again, they are an international brand. So once we determine the needs of the current farms that were out there, we were able to determine a market for ALO's products. Right now, the market is a little bit over 140 million renminbi for ALO's product, but this is projected to grow. As you can see, the large-sized dairy farms are in fact growing at a higher rate than the small to medium-sized dairy farms. The projected market overall in 2017 is in fact over 1.5 billion renminbi, but since the large-sized dairy farms do in fact make up over 60% of this market, this is where ALO needs to focus their future marketing. Just to give you a visual of exactly what we're talking about when we are talking about the machines that are typically found on a large-sized dairy farm. These farms have anywhere, again, from 8 to 10 large-size agriculture tractors. When I say large-size agriculture tractors, I mean tractors in the 70 to 120 horsepower range. And they're utilizing large-size wheel loaders. And again, they have anywhere from 8 to 10. Here we're showing you 8. But with ALO's product, what we can do is we can go onto these farms, attach our wheel loader and implement to the tractors already on the farms, thus decreasing half of the machines needed to get the job done. This results in about a 55% savings for these farms. Then this is great for ALO because this is just an additional incentive for these customers to buy ALO's product. Now I will turn it over to Aaron, and he will explain exactly how ALO's front loader matches up with the wheel loader.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Now, this section, I will try to explain the marketing competition and identify our 2 competitors and also illustrate how can we provide cost-effective products. First of all, okay, ALO is trying to enter this market. Let's first look at who is already in this market. First of all, we have the big brand wheel loaders, and we also have the small brand wheel loaders. During our field studies and our interview with the farmers, we found out that farmers value durability, efficiency, price, and functionality. So we do our competition metrics. We found out our 2 competitors are the big brand wheel loaders. They are big domestic construction machinery manufacturers. They already have very mature distribution channel. However, even based on this composition, we still believe we have our following competitive advantage. First of all, the most important is our machine is multiple-use machine, which means it will subsequently reduce the number of machinery used in one farm. And secondly, because of the design of the agriculture tractor, it cares about the terrain of the dairy farm. However, as Amanda mentioned before, the Ely farm always complain about construction machines substantially destroy the terrain of the dairy farm. Thirdly, our product can specialize fitting the customer's needs, and we also can customize our product and deliver to customer within 3 weeks. However, the construction machine, it's obvious they cannot do that. And lastly, the pricing incentives is always the key consideration of any buying decisions. On this point of view, our product can apply for the agriculture subsidy, which means most of the agriculture tractor now can apply average 30% of the price reduction from the central government and can enjoy extra subsidy from the provincial government. Okay. After all this descriptive analysis, I will try to illustrate how our product can provide cost-effective and also efficiency. So we investigate the marketing price of the big brand wheel loaders, and we also have the marketing price of our products and attached to the agriculture tractor. Obviously, our price is higher, but during our interview and field study, we found out that almost half of the working hours of agriculture tractor on the dairy farm are wasted. Based on this point, when a farmer wants to replace their construction machine, they can simply buy our product, not buy a new agriculture tractor. So we're building this model. We only compare the price of big brand wheel loaders and the price of our product. Even before we can put our product on the subsidy list, it's already saves farmers 55% of the price. If we can successfully put our products on the subsidy list, the farmers can even enjoy 10% more price reduction. Okay, now Melanie will explain our target customer.
Thanks, Aaron. Well, one thing that every company will consider is who is our customer and where's our potential market. Basically, ALO has three end customers, namely agricultural machinery cooperatives, big state-owned enterprise farms, and individual corporations. For the cooperatives like Heilongjiang Nongken Bureau, they arise because, not like the Western countries, local farmers in China only own small lands, so they can only buy small horsepower tractors, which are less efficient than the larger one. So this organization is partly financed by the government to rent large horsepower machines to local farmers to help them work more efficiently. The second one, the big SOE farms like Yili Dairy Farm and Shangkuli General Farm, usually they have the largest lands and the highest level of mechanism, and most importantly, they have substantial available funding to buy and upgrade their infrastructure. And for the third one, the individual corporation like Mengniu, usually they are not the largest companies, but they are eager to have competitive advantage, so they always focus intensively on their operational efficiency. For all these three customers, they have something in common. The first thing is that they care about the quality of their agricultural machines, and they are very eager to improve their efficiency on farming work. That's exactly what ALO can provide. ALO have high-quality front loaders that can attach to agricultural tractors, which can lower the number of machines used on the farms and can improve greatly of their farming efficiency. The second thing is that they have substantial available funding and they are very innovative, which are the perfectly ideal customers for ALO's products. So, how can ALO reach these customers? Who is ALO's direct customer? That relates to the distribution channel of agricultural machines in China, which is also the way ALO will do business in China. Basically, the current one and also the most possible one for ALO to do business in the first few years is the solid one in this graph. In this way, ALO will come to OEM, which stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer, and then the agricultural machines assembled with ALO's front loaders and implements will come to dealers, and then the dealers will sell them together to the customer. And the other way is that in the future, ALO can go directly to the dealers and sell the implements and front loaders separately to the end customers, which is more attractive and controllable for ALO and the customers as well. Here, I need to emphasize 2 points. The first thing is that in both ways, ALO's brand name and their logos were shown on the front loaders, which can help a lot for them to build their brand loyalty. And second thing is that this distribution channel in China It's consistent with the way ALO do business in the other part of the world, which means that ALO don't need to change a lot to adapt into Chinese market. Okay, that's all about the customers and distribution channel. Next, Kelsey will talk about product protection.
Thank you, Melanie. As Melanie mentioned, I'd like to talk to you about our product protection. The first thing that ALO realizes is that they can't take one of their current products and just push it onto the Chinese market. They're going to need to customize a new front loader and implement in order to fit the needs of the Chinese market. This is something that they're comfortable doing. And once they have innovated this product, it's really important for them to seek all forms of IP protection, and they will not disclose their product until they've received a patent. We do realize that ALO might run into problems with domestic implements trying to copy their brand, but they are confident that the brand loyalty that they will receive from their customers will combat that. One of the things we found from our field studies is that the major dairy farms want an international brand that is high quality and authentic. So they want to be loyal to that brand. So we believe that that will help us with our IP protection. Next, I'd like to talk about our steps to get our implements and front loaders on the farm. The first step is to customize and create an implement, like I just mentioned. This is something that ALO is not new to. They have done this in many other markets, so they have the experience and the resources to do this. This is different than what our competitors are doing right now. They are taking a construction machine and they're pushing it onto the market, and it's unfit for the market's needs. So this is something that's unique to us, and we can customize this with no problem at all. Our next step is to get on the subsidy list. Receiving a subsidy is important to our customers, therefore it's important to ALO. We've identified this to be low cost, and it only takes 1 year, so it's relatively easy. Also, our products encourage efficiency, so they are in line with the 5-year plan, which qualifies us to be on the list. And our next step is to hold a pilot program. And what ALO will do is they will go into 5 farms and give them 3 implements to use each. And this method has actually been proven because John Deere entered the market in the 70s with a pilot program, and they were highly successful. I would just like to note that when they entered the market, it was a time of very low mechanization, and we believe that we'll have even greater success during this time of high mechanization. And another factor is that when we talk to our target customers, the major dairy farms, they expressed that they are always watching what the competition is doing. They're very aware of what the other farms are doing as far as machinery. And they said that they look out to see if they can be more efficient than the other customers or the other competitors. So for us, that means if we go into a farm and give them our product, the other farms will see that and they will want our products as well. So that just creates brand recognition for us. We've estimated a cost of 1 million RMB to cover the pilot program. And then our last step is that we need to OEM with major tractor companies to get our product on the market. The reason that we've chosen OEM is because it's lower risk and actually lower cost for us to enter the market because they already have brand recognition. Kubota and New Holland are already on the farms, so they have brand awareness that we can use to our advantage when entering the market. And also, we've worked with these 2 companies in other markets around the world globally, so we have pre-established relationships, and we know that our business model is compatible with theirs. And lastly, I'd like to just illustrate why this is a good idea for ALO. Culturally, ALO has been around for over 60 years. They are an international brand that's high quality, and they take pride in their products. They are adaptable to the market. They've entered different markets around the world, and they know what to change and how to change, and they can do it very efficiently. And their business model that they will need to have in China is consistent with what they're already doing. So the way that they do business through OEMs and dealers is not a new thing for them. Also, their product is going to encourage efficiency on farms, which is consistent with the 5-year plan. So the time is now for ALO to enter the market. Financially, we're going to require an initial investment of 10 million RMB. This covers our pilot program, as well as marketing and R&D, and we will see a profit at the end of year 3, and at the end of year 5, we'll have a complete investment recovery. And I would just like to reiterate that this is a 1.5 billion RMB market in 2017. So ALO has a great opportunity and the resources to create value for themselves, for China, and for dairy markets. With that, we'd like to open it up to Q&A, and thank you for your time today.
Definitely appreciate the picture of the cow manure.
We thought
I
that was
guess
funny.
This is a shitty business. Had to throw that joke in there. But appreciate your presentation. The two OEMs that you plan on using, Kabuta and New Zealand, I think those are the two names.
New Holland.
New Holland, sorry. What do you think would stop them from actually, developing this own type of equipment to add on to the existing tractors or front loaders? I mean, how have you thought about that, and how easy is it to actually cooperate with them?
I understand your question. Basically, ALO is confident that their product is of a high quality. I mean, these companies have both OEM'd with ALO in the past simply because of the high quality of their product. And so the only thing that's really stopping ALO right now is, for one thing, New Holland and Case have merged, and so now it's Case New Holland, and so there's a little bit of unorganization there. But basically what's stopping ALO right now is that they were unsure of exactly what the market was in China. They've actually had a manufacturing plant for about 5 years now in Ningbo, and so they're here in China, and they're just, everything that we found out, ALO knew nothing. I mean, ALO knew nothing about the market before our consulting project, and so they were just basically unsure of how to go about it because, for one thing now, John Deere is also in the Chinese market, and they currently do also sell front loaders. So there is no agriculture company right now on the market as far as front loaders go. So we realized once we enter the market, other companies, especially international companies, may follow. But simply Kubota and New Holland have OEM'd with ALO in the past simply because of the high quality of our implements, and because ALO is known around the world, and so this just helps them sell more tractors essentially by attaching ALO's front loader to their machines.
Thank you. I was very impressed that you actually went to visit the farms in these different provinces. That was very good market research. I also really enjoyed the second to last slide about the ALO's summary of strengths and why they're well positioned to enter China. I think that was very well done. I think I also liked the cost analysis that you did. Just one last question on the cost analysis. You're comparing it to big brand names. Are those big brand foreign names? Are there any domestic competitors that sell the same type of equipment?
Okay. The big brand wheel loaders are referring to the domestic big construction machinery manufacturers, and most of them are allocated in Shandong province.
So they're all domestic. Yes.
In your analysis, did you look at two questions? One is the number of existing tractors out there that could be retrofitted or equipped with your front loaders, and number two, whether that was the bigger market or the market for new equipment.
Sorry, repeat the second question?
So it's really a question about where the distribution is of the market opportunity. Is it in going out and putting loaders on existing tractors, or in outfitting new tractors?
Sure. Okay. I think your question is based on my cost analysis, because I compare only the front loaders price with the big brand wheel loaders. So our assumption is, like, for the following 5 years, our focus is to add our product to the existing agricultural tractors. However, after 5 years, the dairy farms, they would willing to purchase more agriculture tractor. And at that time, my model is not correct anymore. But the assumption is, after 5 years, they already know front loaders, and they get used. It already enjoys the cost-effective and enjoy the efficiency of our product. They are willing to pay a little bit more to still use our loaders and attach to their new agriculture tractor.
Did that answer your question? Okay.
Where is ALO headquartered? Where's the corporate headquarters?
In Sweden.
Oh, it's Swedish, okay.
They're a Swedish-based company.
Okay. I know this has come up, but I just want a little more clarification on the competition. And if you can't say it for IP reasons, I understand, but you mentioned John Deere, that they are in this business, right? They have, how do you word it? They have a piece of equipment that would fit on a tractor that would do the same as the ALO product does, right?
Yes.
And are there other names that I would have heard of? Like, does Caterpillar do it?
As far as I know, Caterpillar is mainly construction machines.
okay.
And there's no other internationally branded tractor
Okay, so
companies.
then, as you
that I'm
said,
aware
the main competitors are Chinese then?
Yes, because it's the wheel loader at this point. It's not an agriculture
Right.
company.
So, I know that you talked about in the farms, they like these international brands, but that's the trade, isn't it? The international brand versus local? I mean, I assume the local companies would be cheaper and make a point about, we're right here and we have Guanxi and so on and so forth. Have you looked at all of that? You know what I mean by Guanxi, relationship,
Yes,
yeah.
I understand. Maybe I'm not understanding your question. You're saying that,
I just think that whenever, there's this ongoing debate in marketing about whether how does the international brand face, and the whole pizzazz of that, ALO, John Deere, compared to the fact that something would be local, it would be Chinese, it would be less expensive, it would be easier to get to market and so on.
that's a great question. And that was a concern we had going forward at the beginning of this project. But I guess as we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, when we actually visited these farms, they do realize, and actually when we talked to dealers as well, they said that when local farmers have the ability to buy and purchase tractors, they prefer buying international brands because they have realized the higher quality. And so pricing is more of an issue when you're dealing with local farmers, but once we reached to the corporate dairy farms, that became less of an issue, and they were very willing to purchase internationally branded tractors.
Thanks for the difference between the local and the
Yes, there
corporate.
is a difference.
Okay, thank you.
So if you were presenting this to ALO management and they looked at your numbers and said, 3-year break even is too long, 5-year payback is too long, it needs to be 3 years, how would you change your strategy kind of on the fly, and what changes would you make in order to achieve a 3-year payback?
Okay. That struck me like several days on sleep, that point, when I found out all the financials is like 3 years and payback. But when I go to the internet, look at ALO's history, and look at other companies in this industry, I found out that it's not like a high, like Facebook or Twitter, you invest and they grow like substantially. However, this industry is like, their life cycle is slower. And because I mentioned before, in China, there are no front loader currently. And it's like you are the first mover in this market. The first thing is educate to the market. When they get used to it, they start to booming. That is why on our spreadsheet, we start to make profit a little bit later. But the time period is not that long for ALO. ALO now is acquired by a private equity company, 2 private equity companies. And I think all of you know the difference between venture capital and private equity company. I think they more care about the growth, the constant growth of the corporation rather than the venture capital. They want to like a booming like immediately. Maybe my point is too. Okay, am I answering your question?
So what would the lifetime of this product be then if it's a 5-year payback?
Sorry, say it again.
What would the lifetime of this product be?
Okay. The lifetime. Okay, you mean how long it will last, the product? Lifetime, yeah, product.
I mean, theoretically, ALO's product, if properly taken care of, could last a lifetime. That's what.
It's like 50 years.
So you
But
would
theoretic-
propose that ALO would be selling this for 50 years in the China market, or?
Oh, you're asking how long will ALO be in the market, in
Yeah,
the
if it's-
Chinese market?
So they're making you're proposing that they make an investment in the Chinese market that's going to take 5 years to pay back. How long will that product generate revenue after payback?
Generate revenue. Okay. I think we start to generate revenue even at the first year. The third year is we start to make profit. And the end of 5 years means we can pay back the initial investment. Yeah. How long will keep making? Okay. We also estimate that, but haven't put on the PowerPoint. We, based on IBIS World Report and based on annual's current market share in the world, like in Europe, it's around 40% of the market. In US, it's slightly lower, it's 30%, and the world average is 25%. So we estimate at least China can achieve like the average, at least the average, or a little bit lower, let's say 20 or even 10%. And based on the actual direct market in China, it is growing at least 10% estimated by the IBIS. So we times 1.1 times 1.1, we found that it can grow at least 10% per year after 5 years.
Well, as I know, the technology of the alloy is, so far as I know, is not very complicated. When you are entering Chinese market, how to face, face the problems for imitation. Since now China is copyright not quite well, and how to solve the problems. The imitation by many internal Chinese factories or manufacturers, something like that.
Knockoff. Knockouts.
If someone copies the product, how can you solve the problem?
Basically, we do realize that there is the issue of domestic companies trying to copy our product, but AILA has been doing this for a really long time so that they, in the actual arm part of the mechanical implement and front loader, they have a lot of things that make it better than the competitor. And they can try to copy it, but it's not going to last as long, and it's not going to be as high quality. And I think that with the trend of international brands in the market, we will be able to be sustainable, just because these major dairy farms realize that when they buy a big brand, they're getting a product that's going to last a long time, as opposed to buying a brand that they don't know a whole lot about, and that's newer than our brand.
Okay, I can comment a little bit about under it. Elo, now if our plan is when he enter China, they only provide like very limited category of products to test this market. And even they put the whole range of products in China. The advantage of Elo is they always lead the market. They are the leading manufacturer in the world, which means any innovation in this industry almost achieved by Elo. If someone copies it, they can constantly improve their product, like the product functionality, durability, right? And also how to say that? Okay, the Elo also selling the system, the control system. It's a very complicated system which are really hard to copy. If they bring their system to China, it can also help them to help them sell their front loader.
I think another thing that helps AILO is that they are constantly changing. And since in previous markets and all over the world, they've been the one that has invented the product. They haven't been the follower, they've been the leader. And I think the nature of the market helps us a little bit, because since our front loaders last so long, if we get to the customers first and we deliver them a product that they are happy with and they're satisfied, if we keep doing that and being on top of the market and the changes, I believe that we will beat out our competitors.
Thank you.
Very good.